And then my name is B. I'm the activities coordinator, pronoun they, them. And we both are here from Bridge to Home, and we're hoping to get you guys interested in joining our beautiful community we have created over at Bridge to Home. And then, yeah, feel free. We're going to give you guys a quick presentation, and then after the presentation, you guys can answer whatever questions you guys may have, or any other concerns or just comments. We'd love to hear community input all the time. And then we will be reading the chat group. So if you guys want to ask questions in there, I'll make sure to read the chat. If you want to hit next.
Sorry, taking me a second.
No worries. So at Bridge to Home, we are essentially a nonprofit or organization that helps with homelessness services, from getting people housed, giving them a current place to stay while we get them permanently housed, as well as give them other resources to just really help them move forward in life. And so a little bit of stats before we go into more specifics of what Bridge to Home. I really wanted to give you guys a clear picture on what homelessness looks like in LA County. And so this report that I pulled this information from is from LAHSA, who's the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority. And they're kind of the main, I would say, organization or program that works with the homeless community. And then Bridge to Home is a partner with LAHSA. And so the report that they released, this is last year's. This year's numbers aren't out yet, but as we see in the greater LA County, shows that 66,436 people in LA are experiencing homelessness as of June 2020, and that's a 12.7 spike since 2019. And then specifically to Santa Clarita, we've actually seen a decline of 35%, and 168 people were experiencing homelessness as of July 2020. Now, I personally think that this number has gone up since then, for sure, especially as COVID continues to, shake people's lives. And then we were finding in this report as well that 59% of them cited economic hardship as the cause. For many of the clients, this is the first time they're experiencing homelessness. A lot of people, unfortunately, live one paycheck away from homelessness. And as the job industry is fluctuating a lot, and it's harder to get jobs for certain fields, we're finding that homelessness number is spiking up from people couch surfing, sharing rooms, or just sleeping in their car. Unfortunately, that is the increase that we are seeing right now. And so there is a big need for volunteerism, and there's a big need for support here at Bridge to Home as we're expanding our services, as well as the amount of outreach that we do. Randy, do you want to go to the next slide?
All right, so I just wanted to share, as a volunteer coordinator, I see a lot of statistics on volunteerism, and I think it's really important to share that the average volunteer hour is worth $24, and that's to service organizations and in foundations and other nonprofits. And in 2019, a total value in the last decade is $167 billion worth of value to these organizations for volunteer service. And then in the AmeriCorps website, which is the website I'm using, just in LA County alone, 197 million hours were donated, and that contributes to $4.7 billion worth of that 167 billion. Let me go ahead and move to the next slide, sorry. Specifically for Bridge to Home, and since I have been in this position, I've been tracking hours, and we have done an average, of 120 service hours per month. Unfortunately, with the fluctuation in the COVID and in the shelter, those hours over the last couple of months have differed, simply because we've had to quarantine and keep volunteers in and out of the shelter according to our testing results. So that unfortunately over the last 2 months has changed, but we are seeing an increase in volunteerism now and people who are interested in coming into the shelter and being with the clients and engaging in a variety of areas. We have a lot of people with different talents who have come in, and we'll share that in just a minute. So in 2021, we're anticipating that the amount of hours is going to quadruple based on the amount of people who are coming in with interest in actually completing orientations and trainings and paperwork that's required specifically for our organization. And we do have a lot of service options, and so we'll go ahead and share those with you. How you can help is so these are the volunteer jobs that we have now, and we're really working on developing more as the need grows, and we will be growing in the next 2 years when we do we're building a permanent facility right now. We break ground in the next few months. And so for right now, these are the things that we have. We're broken down into 3 sections. We have a housing core, a shelter core, and an office core. Our housing core is where we engage with the clients directly in a one-on-one basis, and we work with the case managers and the staff in the office and act as liaisons with landlords and the housing team in order to find suitable places for people who are ready to move on to that next step. So that's more of what the housing and landlord relations team member will do. The case manager assistants actually work with the case managers and assisting with that, and you can actually gain exposure as a college student or just a community member to see what it is that we actually do from the intake process to the housing process from a professional standpoint. So we have a really other cool job called the housing partner, and it's where you actually build a rapport with individual clients, and you kind of act as a buddy, somebody who's really there for them to get them to each step of the process in the housing, because there's a lot of components that are working, and it's really hard to go from one individual to another individual to another individual, and building that really trusting relationship so that you can be successful and have that sustainability. So that's kind of what the housing partner is going to do, and it's somebody that's going to really need to be able to commit to a couple of clients and work them through the process. All of these things, all of these volunteer jobs are going to have research-based training. You will be working with professionals in the office and our board of directors who are trained in this, and everyone does something different and has some sort of a professional background to help you through this process. So the second is our shelter core, and that's where we really, that's kind of where B is, and that's what we do as far as engaging with the clients as a whole and helping out with the staff and being on the ground floor of what's really happening when the clients actually come in. So that's where you're going to help with our meal services, and you're going to help with the activities that, Bee's wonderful. She plans all of these things to help these clients with resumes and college enrollments and school, and I'll let her share some more about that later, because those are kind of some things that we really need some assistance with as far as volunteerism goes in the shelter core. And that, again, that's where you're really going to get a group experience in the engagement with the clients. So then our third one is our office core, and that's the basics of kind of how our day-to-day operations run. So that's the office assistant, answering phones, engaging with the clients that maybe necessarily aren't in the shelter, but are in our program. Donations, helping assist with donations that come in and out. We do have a lot of donations weekly, and it gets a little bit overwhelming, and we need, we kind of have, it would be nice to have some help to kind of go through that and decipher what's really important, what's really valuable at that time, and what the clients really need. Because we get inundated at times, and then there's times where there's nothing. So kind of helping to level out that situation would be really helpful. And then again, in-kind donations team members or team members who actually go out and seek donations from community resources and build partnerships so that we can get some things as simple as paper for the office, or notebooks for the clients who are in school, or something to that effect. And then resource development is just somebody who can go out there and be boots on the ground type of movement and help us to develop community partnerships with businesses, and help us find those resources that maybe we haven't thought of or that are untapped. B, do you have anything to add to this slide?
All these positions, may sound overwhelming, and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I have no experience whatsoever in any of this. And so this is the beautiful part about us coming here to COC and talking to students, is that these are opportunities for, if this is something that you've always been interested in learning more about, this is an excellent way for you to kind of break into this this field. If you're interested in nonprofit work, I've been doing nonprofit work for 10 years. And these would have been positions, that volunteer opportunities that I would have definitely loved to jump into when I was younger, to get my foot in the door in the nonprofit, get experience working with clients, get experience building relationships with the clients, and just really seeing what the needs of the clients are. And so if you feel a little overwhelmed by all this, trust me, I can see why, but at the same time, I would encourage you to see it as a learning opportunity and an opportunity to try something new, especially as you guys are navigating, different career options.
Okay, so I was just this is kind of explaining what I just went over with the housing core and the shelter core. Just kind of how those operations work, and just gaining that experience and all of the training. We will train you with research-based training and development with the staff, with members of the board of directors, and a lot of them have been in this field for a very long time and have a lot of experience, and would love to train new people and really get their hands on you so that they can show you what it is, and gain your interest, and hopefully pique a passion for helping homeless. And there's a lot you can do in the field. You're not limited. And again, with the shelter, it's just engaging and building these meaningful relationships and interactions with the clients, and helping with the needs and everyday occurrences and things that happen to these clients. And you'll learn a lot. And the volunteers that we have now, when I ask them, like, are you enjoying this? Is there something that I can do for you? Is there something you need? And a lot of them are, no, I love this. It was not what I expected. It was not what I was thinking it was going to be. A lot of these volunteers that are coming in tell me that they are really surprised. It's changed their perspective on homelessness altogether. They tell me that it is fulfilling and rewarding, and they have a different outtake on what it means and how they can really help and impact. And it's not just serving a meal. You're not serving a meal, you're exchanging with the client, and you're really getting a smile, and these people are happy to see you. And it's a heartfelt, intrinsic reward to be able to do something like this. B, I'm gonna let you take this one because I'm super excited.
Yeah, so a little bit more background on what exactly it is that I do. So a little more history too. So our shelter used to be only a winter shelter where we would be open from November to March. However, last year was the first time that we were all year round, and we're going to continue to be year round. And so because of that, a lot of funding has been coming in. And one of our funding is that we want to create a culture where there's a lot of activities, there's a lot of programming. We're shifting the culture where the shelter is no longer a place for the clients to just lay their head and have a safe place to stay at night, but we're also building a community there, and a learning community, and a emotionally supportive one. one that really builds up our clients so they feel confident enough to, take on the world and help themselves, get out of the situation that they're in. And so one of the things that we have begun doing is actually enrolling a lot of our clients into COC free classes. I don't know if y'all are aware, but COC does offer free classes to the community. And so we've been enrolling our clients into them, and we've been getting a lot of students enrolled. And so now we're creating this learning center, and essentially this learning center is where the clients will go in and work on their online homework, and where they'll be working essentially on completing their classes. Now, because a lot of our clients do have a lot of barriers, and a lot of them struggle with computer literacy, internet fundamentals, word processing type stuff. And so we really are excited to show this presentation to you guys, because who knows Canvas and Zoom more than a college student? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys know how to navigate those two softwares, or what is it? I forgot what the term is for that. And so I feel like this would be definitely a great spot for you guys if you want to volunteer. And so currently our Learning Center hours are Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And so there's plenty of opportunity for you guys to pick time slots to come in. And essentially you'll, helping them get into a Zoom call, get into their Canvas, help them navigate Canvas, help them navigate Zoom, help them show them how to post their discussion post on Canvas, how to upload an assignment, help them, notice things like due dates, or any type of things that may come up relating to their coursework. And so if this is something you're interested in, please let us know. We're actively looking for volunteers for our Learning Center hours. So if you want to hit the next. And so the other twofold of my position as the activities coordinator for the shelter is, or at least my favorite part of this position, is that I get to work with community members, whether it's professionals, students, people who are just passionate about whatever they're interested in. I want you to come in and help give workshops. If you are very passionate about, making jewelry, come in, teach them how to make jewelry. If you have a presentation on something you're very interested in and you may have resources on, bring it in, contact me. If you want to give lessons, how to play guitar, how to sing, or how to dance, come on in and teach them how to dance, and do group activities and arts and crafts, and whatever you're interested. If there's something that you are passionate about, there's something that you have a lot of knowledge and experience about, and you feel like you are in a good place to share that with a community that is in desperate need of some connection to the outer world, as a connection to something outside of whatever current situation there is, I highly encourage you to please get a hold of us and shoot an email our way. And if you need help developing workshops, I can do that. I've been working with several volunteers developing workshops. This upcoming week, we have one on this college student is doing one on nutrition and health, and she's coming into the shelter, and she's going to go through our kitchen and look at all the donated food we have. And so she can create like a menu of options of like, these are good options that provide a lot of nutrition for you based on what you have accessible to you. And so that's just like one example of how we get people from the community who already have interest in something, and get them to come in, help them develop workshops, help them present it, as well as giving them guidance on how to be mindful of the different barriers that our clients do face. And so if you guys have questions on that, please feel free to ask. And so Randy, you can keep going.
All right, so how do you begin? You don't need any experience. Again, like I said, we will provide you with everything and hands-on training, and we will do our best to support you through the entire volunteer process with our organization. It doesn't stop once you give it, once you step in that door, it doesn't stop. We're with you the entire process. So we have four forms that we ask you to fill out to begin, just so we can get our basic information and protect our organization and protect you guys. It's our volunteer application. It's really simple. We do have a confidentiality agreement that you will have to sign because of the nature of what we do. We do ask for confidentiality and keeping things to yourselves. We have volunteer policies that we will go over in a simple orientation and a release of liability, okay? In certain cases, in certain volunteer jobs, we do require a background check simply because you will be dealing with very sensitive information. But that is something that we pay for, and we will handle it and then give you the results. So, does anybody have any questions? I know we covered a lot in such a short amount of time.